Well, we got the Amy mobile today. We are going back to the barn. Slept in a little today. Obviously, last night not what we were hoping for with some of the horses. I think for the Brave World Group. Yeah, hi, baby. I think for the Brave World Group, everybody was high-fiving one another. A great race from him. Even the Sailor crew, I think, understood what took place and how good that horse looked and was happy with him. I know I was. Stonebird Simba, yeah, there's an old warrior, and I think we know exactly what we have to tinker with him. I went over this in the video last night. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on it. Overall, we continue to have a great year here in 2022, and we will have our speed bumps. Sometimes those speed bumps are a little bigger than others, but nevertheless, we will get over them and move past them. Addie Bear. So, I'm going to talk about the 3-year-olds now. Many of these horses are ready to go or are qualified or are qualifying. So I will get through all of them. There's a couple here. Addie Bear. Shh. There's a couple here with some minor issues that I want to go over. Almost Their Boss has no issues, man. He looked awesome last week. You know, it kind of sucks a little bit that they're not racing next Monday and Thursday. I think that I've never seen them do this where they didn't have 2 days in the middle of the calendar. I believe this was scheduled maintenance from a while ago, and with everything going on with COVID, they decided that this was the proper date to do it. So there's no racing at Mohawk. But you said there's training, right?
Apparently on Wednesday, yeah.
That's so weird.
I know.
An odd schedule, but nevertheless, Almost Their Boss coming off maiden victory and looked really, really good. The thing I like the most about him is, and this might sound silly to you guys, but how stupid he looked. And the reason that was, not stupid in a bad way, just how green he was. You can see how much power he's sitting on, how much ability he has. And the fact that he still hasn't grasped what racing actually is interesting. Once every so often you see that. That's not a dig on the horse at all. I was very proud of what he did the other night. Amor Diener, Addie Bear, shushies please. Okay, you can have the sandwich. Ava, can you give her a bite of that sandwich? Amor Diener made a break. Now, I really believe Amor Diener can race without hobbles on, but as I said to Jason, I really wanted to take a few days and go over, this is important. You guys might see a qualifier at Northfield in obscurity, but it's important. Every little thing's important to me, and when it goes to a horse like Amor Diener, he's trained down great without hobbles. We've trained him, I think, in 2-1, 2 minutes without hobbles, and I know he will race without hobbles at some point. But the shortcomings of his gait play a role. So the straightaways, he gets a little rolly because he touches up on that left hind. We've tinkered with the shoes a little bit. We may have it nipped in the bud, we may not. Also, he was running in a little bit. We can change that with a head pull. I'm not worried about that. But here's the kicker. He'd be moving from a qualifier at Northfield into a series at the Meadows, a bigger track, more of a straightaway. Would it not make more sense to have the hobbles on him for a little while? I was torn on that, but ultimately it comes down to this. He has a stake race starting in a couple of weeks. We do need him qualified. I don't really want to roll the dice again, even though you can take them off and on in Pennsylvania at your leisure. If you want to take them off, you take them off. Tell the judges when you enter the horse he's racing without hobbles, or put them on, which I think it should be. Ontario's moved to that model too. There's a couple of rules I'd like to see Ohio look into and change, and they likely will because they make sense for racing itself. The rule about hobbles would be one, and number 2 would be making a break off a qualifier. I didn't realize how really, truly annoying that was until you're up against you. Like, you don't want to make a break off a qualifier. Walk on the Moon made a break the other day. Had to qualify again in Ohio, but doesn't have to in Pennsylvania or Ontario. So it's really weird, right? I think also when you're talking about first start off a qualifier, people are maybe less likely to push their horses hard if they know a break would result in requalification. So I think that's a rule. 2 rules I think should be uniform across the board in Ontario. Moving the hobbles on or off as you please, and no break off qualifier results in requalification.
Didn't they just change that because of COVID?
No, I think the rule the rule in Pennsylvania was always 45 days, but I think they did change it, you're right, for COVID because qualifying horses. But at the same time, I think it makes sense. It's one of those rules I think really should stick. It just makes total sense. And there's no real reason for it. If the judges, at any point, if the judges believe that you should requalify your horse, they can ask for it, regardless of the line. Addie Bear and Ava, please. Regardless of the line, the judges can call down and say, hey, we're going to need to see a horse qualify. It might make you angry, but they can. It's well within their rules to do that at any point. So you smudge on them. Can you clean those up? With your sweater. What else do we got? So Amordino will probably requalify him with hobbles on because he's racing in Pennsylvania. And if we decide, geez, the qualifier was great, much better, then we can race him without the hobbles. But I believe that we'll qualify him with the hobbles this coming Thursday at Northfield Park. Arches Rainbow. Now, I guess that qualifier really didn't jive with what I had told you the week before with the schooler. So that's good and it's bad. The horse is perfectly fine. The issue at hand with Arches Rainbow was, so this is how they played out. I didn't know anything was going on with Arches Rainbow. I knew that Eyes at 10 would maybe get a little weak coming out of the turn. I moved her over to let Arches Rainbow through, and she kind of lumbered through there, but it was windy and whatnot, but 31, 32 was really unacceptable, and I saw that Harry and I come out. We were in the same qualifier. James came off first. I was coming off maybe 20 yards behind, and I could see Harry. They were talking about the filly. So I hung the lines up, and Amy took Eyes at 10, and I walked up, and Harry and James and I said, "What was up with her?" Harry said, "It's my fault." He said, "I had her on the board to get shod yesterday, and when I went out the door, the blacksmith was arriving, and it really didn't dawn on me. I didn't think much of it. I come off the track, and as I'm coming off the track, I'm thinking, geez, I hope they don't shoe Arches Rainbow. She's qualifying tomorrow. They got 4 other ones to do." He said he opened the door. Here she is on the cross ties. Now, Harry jogged the horse 25 minutes. That was more than enough time for Preston to pull all the shoes off and have her front foot trimmed up. First foot trimmed up. So it's not like you can say, okay, well, before you take any foot off or put those shoes back on, damage is already done. He'd already taken quite a bit of toe off of Arches Rainbow. A huge no-no for me. I can assure you a huge no-no for Arches Rainbow. And also, Harry doesn't like that either. I like that old school mentality. I don't like shoeing. It's weird because blacksmiths like doing them like the day of or the day before. I think the horses got to get used to it, but every horse is a little bit different. Our horses, the horses that we train, I would like to shoe them the day after the race rather than the day before. So I had asked James flat out, as Harry and I was talking, he said, "Oh, she was terrible. Rough in the turns, rough in the straightaways. Down the backstretch, I wanted to go a mile in 2 minutes, right? That's what I wanted to go. Now it's windy, you got to give a little allowance for that. So I'm not really that worried about the 2-2. But Arches Rainbow schooled in 2 minutes last half, 57, last quarter, 28 apiece. She should have inhaled everybody and won easily in the qualifier. So I was a little perplexed as to what took place. Again, we scoped her and she was perfectly clean, but the shoeing was an issue. So I guess the bad was her qualifying line doesn't look good. The good is, I can assure you, she's ready to trot probably 58 right now. So you take that for what it is. Arches Rainbow, love this filly. I love horses that overcome, and she has overcome a substantial deficiency in her airway. Really impressed with her. Better Be Sawyer, we trained her yesterday at Mohawk. She'll be in a condition claimer Friday night in London. This might be one of our last starts with her. We're not going to beat around the bush. There are some horses that do have to leave. They're going to do people some good. I qualified Stonebridge Dolce the other day, and I thought to myself as I'm coming back, I was happy with her qualifier, but we literally have 6 maiden trotters that would beat her right now. So it being still right in the heart of breeding season, and she is well bred, I had talked to Stonebridge Farms and said, listen, maybe just sell this mare. Just makes more sense, I would think, than continuing on and hoping she finds 6-7 seconds somewhere before stake season. I mean, if she's not a grassroots filly, she's an overnight horse, and if she's an overnight horse, she's probably worth more as a brood mare. So now's the time to sell her. So it's the same line. You look at Better Be Sawyer. Here's a filly with great pedigree, an okay horse. She's taken a lifetime mark. Maybe now is the time to move her also. So we'll see how she races, and I'm not giving her away though. As an overnight horse, she has a set worth. Even in a condition claimer, I think her tag is like Ava Lily, come on. Even in an overnight event, I think the filly carries worth upwards of 20 or 1,000 or more. Her claiming tag is 15. It's like $26,000. So it's not like she's a giveaway in any stretch of the imagination.
Give her an orange.
Ava Lily and Addie Bear. Look, Addie, see the video?
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to tell them about their horses, and you're talking about the color orange.
But he will give me orange.
Well, what color do you want?
What color do you want?
Blue.
You got a blue one, honey? Ava doesn't have blue. She's got brown, green, yellow, red. You want red? Okay. You say please. Blue Bayou Dio was great in her qualifier. I mean, when you take the entirety of the day, how windy and horrible it was, and then throw that mile on top of it, a great mile. But we are going to take her to the vet tomorrow and get her checked on the right line a little bit. This is not new to her. Her knees kind of bothered her a little bit last year, so we'll see if they need done. But I would like to see her come back for another qualifier. I just think so highly of this filly. She felt like she could use one more qualifier. Bomb Hugger's getting ready now. May 4th or May 7th is the date. We'll probably have her qualified by April 15th. She's ready to go at any point. 1 or 2 big miles into her training, and she's there. So Jason's done a good job getting her there, then being able to put her in neutral, put a little bit of work into her. By April 15th, we'll have her qualified. Probably qualify her twice. Maybe try and find one prep race for her. And then she's off to, I think it's called the Lady Suffolk in Freehold. Don't quote me on the name, but it's a stake race in Freehold. That will lead into her New York Cyrus campaign as a sophomore. Carter Michael Dio getting shot today. Obviously, he would have been racing Monday. Carter, no, you're right. Captain Michael Dio. Thank you. Captain Michael Dio Captain Michael Dio getting ready to race again. He would have been racing on Monday. We trained him Wednesday. James said he trained good. He'll likely race on Friday, so I'll probably take him back to Mohawk Wednesday for a mile in 2:20. Or train him here, I should say, in 2:20. We'll get him back going properly. Century Invictus raced great the other day. Very happy with what I saw from Century Invictus. A good mile from him. Confederate Cruiser, we talked about that high muscle count. We'll probably just have him ready to go for the either an overnight race next week or start him right into the Iron Maiden series. Him and Procrastinator Fit the Maiden at Northfield Park. Eyes at 10. Yeah, our qualifier was a little flat. She's an okay horse, but I like what I saw from her. She wasn't crazy. She wasn't interfering. She's going to get better. I was happy with what I saw from Eyes at 10. As I said to Amy, we got a little bit of time before the Iron Maiden series starts for her, so we'll take her to London next Friday. We have Better Be Sawyer, Eyes at 10, and My Mini Miracle will be going to London next Friday. Garden State Deo. Now here's one that jumps off the page. I've decided we're just going to stop with her. A hard reset on Garden State Deo. This horse is too good to be making the mistakes she's making right now. I think the issue at hand, well, the veterinarian saw her twice. Couldn't find anything serious wrong with her. But she was actually worse the other day than she was before. And actually one of our clients said, did you check her ovaries? Did she have a cyst on there? Yes, we have. We have checked her all out. I think what we need to do is just treat her like as I said last night with Patrick DePrana, these are living, breathing animals, and they're not always going to be awesome. And it really hurts sometimes when they're not. But understanding that, there is a good horse in there and allowing it to come out at their schedule, not yours, is important. So Garden State Deo is not ready. Although I schooled her in 2 minutes, last half 58 last week, the power of Garden State Deo is very evident. The strength of Garden State Deo is obvious, but the whole package just isn't put together properly just yet. So if the vet can't find it, we can't shoo her away from it, I think we may as well just take a hard stop and say, okay, whoa, out to the field. So in case there is something lingering that hasn't seen yet, we're going to leave her 3 weeks in the stall and 2 months, 6 to 8 weeks out in the field. I know that's probably what not a lot of people want to hear, is that this horse is going to be... This horse is going to be off for 6 to 8 weeks, but at the same time, I think we have to do what's right for the horse. And if she's not ready to go right now, then we have to take a long look at that and say, okay, How do we get her to where she needs to be ready, where she is ready to go? I think it's pretty obvious. The best way to do that is just time off. Go tight to the wall here. Still haven't fixed this. This guy has to fix this right away. Next is Grace. Now, James trained Grace on Wednesday and said Grace was really, really hot. No snake cord, no hobbles, no. So anyway, we took her out here and changed her gear, put a martingale on her, put a snake cord on her, and put the hobbles on her. I haven't sat behind her a lot. I trained her a little bit last year in between starts here in the middle of the summer. I don't think I've ever seen Grace look as good. I'm just going to ask what he wants. I don't think I've seen Grace ever look as good as she did yesterday training here. She was exceptionally good, and I think she's sitting on a very, very good mile here very soon. Just wait. Mommy's just talking to the blacksmith. See what he wants. I'm sure she can figure it out. Hold on. It's very cold outside, by the way.
Yeah, look at what I drew.
It's very good, Ava. Hey, you can go up in a second, honey. Next is Massive Profit. Massive Profit was fantastic the other day in Victory. The thing I like the most about Massive Profit, his mile wasn't exceptional. He did well. He did his work well. But it looked like he was beat late in the stretch. And he actually put a step in late in the stretch, caught himself, come back on, and beat the horse on the outside of him. That, you can't teach that. That is not teachable. That horse raced very good, showed a lot of grit that even, to be quite frank, I wasn't sure that he had. Hey guys, stop.
Daddy.
Very, very impressed with Massive Profit. Matt's MVP is home now. We jogged him yesterday. It wasn't too bad. He's going to the vet Monday to find out what is up with him. Right front. Probably, to be very honest, now that we have maidens getting ready for Northfield Park, might just race him here at Mohawk a couple of times. This horse would soundly trounce a maiden at Mohawk right now. You know, it's just the reality of the situation is that the maidens at Mohawk are not super tough right now, and he's already trotted in 58 twice, which is on a half, which is 2 seconds faster than they really look comfortable doing. I just think that Matt's MVP, if we get him right, if the vet finds it and said, oh, it's here, don't worry, we got it fixed up, I think he's probably sitting on a very, very good mile at Mohawk. Of Tom is getting close. She's looking for the Iron Maiden Series also at Northfield. I'd said, well, guys, she already has one win, but it's not one as a one, Ohio Bridge 2. So she fits in the Iron Maiden. You might say, well, she won all those fairs. Fair races don't count in Ohio at all on the wins column. So she fits Iron Maiden. Now, make no mistake. Don't misunderstand my grin. She's no layover. Eyes at 10's no joke right now. Her mile, you might have saw the other day, wasn't impressive. Give her 2 races at London. Give her 2 races and then see how screwed down she is and how tight she is. And then we have one more too. Of Tom. I know there's another filly that's there. I just can't think of it just this second, but it'll come to me. Oh, here she is right here. 1-2 Skip a Few is also a maiden. You might say, well, Anthony, she won that Buckeye. She won all those fairs. They are all considered fair races. She won the Buckeye at Delaware County Fairgrounds, which you might think is a fantastic track. It is, but it is also a fair track. She fits the Iron Maiden Series also. Peanut. What's wrong, buddy? Skippy was a big fair horse last year. You're right. Peanut Butter and Jelly, much like, well, they count for money and they count for wins, just not on the parimutuel side.
And she broke 2 fair records. She
did. You're right, Oliver. Little piece of useful information. Thank you. Peanut Butter and Jelly, much like Better Be Sawyer, probably not going to stay full-time. I know a lot of people are going to say, why don't we give her a chance? We've been schooling her and qualifying her. We know that there's a saturation level there. And again, she is also pretty well-bred, so she may make a lot more interest for somebody else. We'll probably race her a couple of times. She'll be listed for sale. Also, Procrastinator was fantastic the other day. The teletimer wasn't on him. When I pulled up, I said to Lauren, wasn't quite as good today. Maybe just needs to be a little tighter. You know, I was pretty happy with him. And then I looked at the line later. He paced 56 flat over Northfield Park. Procrastinator was very, very good the other day.
Good job, Noodles.
He was very good and looked good the other day. Oh, she thinks you're talking about not Justin's dog, the Noodles. There's a horsey that she named Noodles also. For whatever reason, I don't know. Purple Aura was I don't blah 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 Ava. Purple Aura back training now, looks pretty good on the track, Jason said, so that's good. One sec, honey. Renegade Gypsy schooled the other day. He's up for, he'll either put him into qualifier school this week. Our goal is to have him ready for the spring series coming up the mid to latter part of April, I believe. Resolute Bay was, you sit back right now in your seat and you stop yelling. Resolute Bay was exceptionally good. Hey, you shush. You shush. Resolute Bay was exceptionally good. Adeline, do you know how to play shush? It's where you don't talk. Yeah, you don't talk. Resolute Bay, very, very, very strong the other day. I really believe this colt, if he was in a stake next week, probably sitting on a 57, 56 mile. This is a legit nice horse. You can come out in a minute. Slim Jimmy, Jason said, is exceptionally good right now.
Just want to make sure he was going to do Matt, but I said he was going to the vet tomorrow, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't tinker with Matt just yet.
That's what I said.
Slim Jimmy's been training great. He's going to qualify this week. We'll qualify him twice. I'll probably go a mile and 2.2 with him this week. Come back with a mile and 58. He is headed to the Hackett. Jason said he's trained back like a monster. Jason's words, not mine. Stonebridge Dolce, as I said, qualified. Adeline Hope McDonald, I asked you not to talk. Shh. Try not to do that, please. Stonebridge Dolce, as I said, qualified the other day and is listed on the preferred online sale platform for Monday. I just think it's time. There's a couple of these horses that are just not. Adeline Hope McDonald. Hey. Shh. I think it's just time. Addie Bear. I think it is just time for a couple of these horses probably to leave. Stonebridge Dolce, it is what it is. She's on her way out. Stonebridge Acadi, few starts for him. A little different trajectory for this guy. We haven't really seen what he can and can't do, and I think he's one of those horses. We're going to see it better and better. I'm not expecting a huge mile from him tonight. Just want to see the horse race good, have a good first start of his life, and then move forward. But totally different trajectory. I've seen Stonebridge Dolce. I've gazed into her soul. I know what she can do and what she can't do. She's an okay horse. We haven't even scratched the surface on Hikari yet. Sweet on Pete is ready to go, also looking at a qualifier this week. 2 qualifiers in the Hackett for her. Jason again has said she's just been tremendous training down. 3-point blue chip. I wish I could give you a video or something, an audio video or anything for
I can ask for one.
Yeah, from Julie. I know they've been very, very high on 3-point blue chip, how he's been training now. I brought to you guys last week that Julie was asking about buying into the colt. And I said there just isn't any shares that people want to sell. I've asked, I've looked. And so it's bad for her, but good for us that she wants in on the colt. I think they think very highly of him. I've seen the staking, as you have, if you're any of my partners on the horse. It's extensive and expensive, but that's how you have to stake horses when you think that highly of them. So good luck to my partners, to me, to you, to everybody involved with 3-point blue chip and the stable in general when it comes to this colt this year. A lot of hopes riding on this guy. I'll tell you a horse that you better pay very close attention to this summer. Tie One On. Harry is raving about the way this filly has been training. And Harry doesn't usually talk horses up. Really subdued when he's talking about how good the horses are or not, or what they're doing or what they're not doing. Harry's always very conservative, and he has nothing but glowing reports for Tie One On. He really, really likes her, so I'm excited to see what she's going to do. Tioga Sunshine trained the other day in 2.5. Probably bring her over and school her next Friday, like go a mile and 2.1, 2.2 with her and see how she is. She's ready to go. Twin Bee Habanero, one of our 2 horses that are going to have some downtime here. He's actually gone to the university today. We're going to remove an OCD from his left hind ankle and an OCD from his hock tomorrow. Natalie Cote is going to do that work. I'm very interested to see how. Very interested to see how that joint bed that they take the chip out of the ankle, what shape it's in, what it looks like. Natalie said she'll clean it up really good. They believe the source of that pain that we saw in Northfield is that joint, is that minor fragment, but where it's sitting and what it's irritating, she believes that's where the discomfort is coming from. So she'll know tomorrow. I'll bring that to you. Not a ton of downtime here. Probably looking at 2 weeks in the stall and then back jogging. It will end up costing us overall maybe a few weeks. Hold on, remind me later. Do not remind me. There. Costing us 3 to install, 3. He'll be back working at pretty good training level in about 5 weeks. So yes, he's going to miss some of his season, but at the end of the day, I think this is a talented colt. I was up in the air. I didn't really know what I thought about him until I trained him that day in the jog cart. He wasn't sound that day. So the tenacity he showed to do his mile off the gate in the jog cart, 2:12, come half and 2, wrapped up hard going under the wire. I was impressed with him. Impressed with this colt. So eager to get him back going, eager to see what the surgeon says about that minor fragment, but overall eager to see the horse race in 2022. Twinkle in her eyes, ready to go. She's okay. I think she's a step above Better Be Sawyer and Peanut Butter and Jelly, but at the same time, how good is she? I don't know. I think we're going to see her probably a 55 pacer, I think, this summer, which will allow her to struggle through the grassroots. But again, who knows? She might step up a little bit more. From what I've seen, 1:58 the other day into a mare that was probably a filly that was probably ready to go 58. You're going to see her improve a little bit. I think she'll probably be a 55 pacer this summer for us. Unbeatable Kemp. You know what? Just give me a second. Yeah. I think Unbeatable Kemp, of all the horses I've laid my eyes on, are all of our sophomores, and I'm trying my hardest. Now, in fairness, I didn't go with Slim Jimmy. In fairness, I didn't go with Sweet on Pete. I haven't sat behind 3-Point Blue Chip this year. Tie one on, I did. I don't think I've seen a more impressive looking animal on the track than I've seen from Unbeatable Kemp the other day in the qualifier. Go back and watch the video. If you guys don't own them or don't have anything to do with them, or maybe just saw the line and said, oh, you look good, do yourself a favor and actually go back and watch that qualifier. Unbeatable Kemp, I don't know how good this horse can be. I don't know where his ceiling is. I don't know what his saturation point is for speed, but it looks pretty deep. This is a good horse. I can't wait to see Unbeatable Kemp race this year. One of our clients, one of our partners, Pete, had messaged me about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and said, do you think maybe we should have him staked a bit deeper? At the time, I said, no, I was happy. Kentucky, New Jersey, it looked great to me. I was very happy with what I saw. I mean, it's a good problem to have when you're sitting there scratching your head saying, should we have done more with this horse? Should we have staked him deeper? I mean, we got him staked to everything in Kentucky. Everything in New Jersey. There's more than enough racing. This horse looks special. He looks good. Now, I didn't get right into it with James the other day about what he thought of him, but what I saw with my eyes was an extremely good-looking and impressive qualifier. As I said, do yourself a favor and go back and watch the qualifier. You'll see what I'm talking about. Will to win Hanover. I think I'm going to take maybe the Breeders' Crown. I'm so torn on this filly. I think she's going to be a nice filly. I think she's going to do us some good. I think she's going to take a good mark. Is she a world-class horse? Nothing she's shown so far concretely supports that claim. Nothing. Now, that doesn't mean she isn't. I didn't say maybe the same type of thing with Kemp, although he looked ultra impressive and she looked ordinary the other day. I think her frame, her mindset, her attitude, it just still sticks in my mind that she's a 2, 3, 4, 5 starts down the road. Okay, now let's talk about Will to win Hanover type of situation. She's going to race in the maiden next week. She's going to hit the middle of the pack. She probably won't win. But I want to see what she can do after 4 or 5 starts. After you give me 5 starts with Will to win Hanover. Just give me 5. And then we'll have a very serious conversation about what I truly think about her. Because you should be able to see her rounding into racing form, her rounding into shape. What does she actually look like? I think this filly has a bright future in front of her, but I can't say it with certainty. Unbeatable Kemp, I would almost stamp it right now and say, yeah, this is a good horse. Will to win Hanover is still speculation at this point, but I just feel that she's going to be a good horse. I don't have anything to support that, so take it for what it is. I have nothing to support my claim. I just feel that Will to win Hanover is going to be a good horse. World for 2 was going a mile in 2 minutes and get run into at the schooler. It's not a big deal. He's fine. I think we'll probably qualify him in 58. He's got a series coming up. I think he's a week or two late for that series, but it's not the end of the world. He's got his whole season ahead of him. It's not like, oh, this is unfair. It's not really the end of the world. He'll be fine. We'll qualify him, and then he'll be going over to Tim Twaddle at some point in the near future. So those are all 30 minutes. Are you kidding me? Those are all your 3-year-olds. I'll be back in a minute with all the brands. I haven't even done my opening yet. I was so, deflated over last night's race that with Patrick that I really just didn't want to crack open my opening. He just didn't race good last night. I just didn't want to crack open my open yet. I will. I'm getting there. Back in a minute.